Right. So when we are working on the migration projects, especially in the field of healthcare, in the field of banking, all that, it's always for us to understand about how the migrations will be taken place. These migrations we do from the old legacy systems to the new application. So how are we migrating it? Right. So what migration process that we follow? Because in the organization level, these legacy systems, what we see will be mostly of on-premise services, right? So that's what something that we must be knowing, right? So mostly these legacy systems will be on-premise services, we call it as. On-premise means whatever the client systems as well as the server, everything will be at one place. Wherein using data center, whatever the data they wants to be managed, whatever the applications that are to be required, everything will be managed in the legacy system itself. That's what we call it as the on-premise services. From very old time, from very long time, we were following the same process. We try to understand about the legacy system, and we were using either you can take from healthcare system, right? So wherein you want to manage the patient's data, or we want to manage some customer data in financial and banking services. So there are a lot of data that is involved. So the data has to be managed. So they have their own workstations, they have their own data centers. Using their workstations and data centers, they maintain. And that's how generally the system we see for a very long time. So earlier in the beginning days, this was all good. But over a period of time, when the requirements from the business requirements were changed from time to time, that could be one reason. Or else our business operations have gone to the next level. We have to make some necessary changes where either you have to make some changes on the existing legacy system, or that is one option you have. If it's not legacy system, uh, it can be we were moving on to the next level, right? So that is something that we need to understand, right? So because either you are making some changes on the existing legacy system, or you are migrating from legacy system to the new system is something that we need to decide. So why is this required? Because legacy systems, some applications usually have some challenges organizations will face. But the first was about the maintenance cost, right? So higher maintenance cost is one of the biggest challenge, because if you want to manage legacy system, you require server, you require data to be managed, data to be protected. You want different firewalls to manage that, right? So you have to invest on some data centers, right? So for that you need to manage the infrastructure, you need to develop the infrastructure, you need to buy it, you need to maintain that. So in order to prevent from any kind of data loss or something, like, so higher maintenance cost is one of the challenge in some legacy systems normally in the organization level we face. That is one challenge. Second is about the loss of data, right? So there are possibilities where sometimes data loss might be taken place. Okay, whatever the existing data do we have. So data can be lost sometimes, right? So whatever the data that we are managing, either it can be patient's data, it can be claims data, it can be customer financial details, right? So or else transaction data, right? So there are possibilities. Sometimes the data could lose for multiple reasons. So data loss is also one of the challenge you see in legacy system. That is point number two. Point number three, lower performance. Lower performance means the application as the load is becoming more. Because assume that, for example, if you take healthcare organizations, wherein their operations were very limited at the time of beginning. So over a period of time, their operations have gone to the next level, increased to the next level. So multiple systems, multiple client systems, multiple user systems will be connected across different places to the particular server. So when the load has been more on the particular server, automatically application performance, I'm talking about the speed accuracy may come down because there is no scalability. Scalability issues comes, right? So you have to scalable, right? So the kind of application we are using or the kind of servers that it has to be maintained should load the balance of the data. At the same time, those can be scalable in nature. So that could be one of the difficulty or a challenge when we sometimes we face in legacy system about lowering the performance is also fixed. Next one about the technical limitation. Technical limitation means infrastructure. If you want to enhance the infrastructure to the next level, that could be one reason behind. So technical limitation can also happen, right? So because the limitation technology is very limited here, right? So you cannot expand the technology to the next level. Technical limitation can also be one of the reason behind, right? So because you have a technical limitations there. Means if you want to enhance any new features and functionalities, or if you want to add any new technology, or if you want to move towards cloud environment, that migrations have a difficulty. So there are possibilities where technical limitations could also arise. So these are the challenges normally in legacy systems. Normally organizations are facing. Organization can face because the reasons why we are moving towards migration, I'm explaining, right? So these are the points that we need to be known with. Next, when we are migrating from old legacy systems to the new system, as I stated, there were many things, right? So first of all, because of the moving from legacy systems to the new application, for example, we are moving towards cloud environment. Cloud service provider can be anything, right? Either it can be AWS, Azure, it can be IBM, Google Cloud, IBM, right? So it can be of any cloud service provider. When we are moving towards new cloud systems, so it lowers the maintenance cost. That is point number one, because maintenance costs will come lower. That is one advantage wherein you will be seeing, right? So you can reduce the maintenance cost because there is no infrastructure. For example, if you talk about cloud environment, you don't have any physical infrastructure. So automatically load will come down. That's one advantage because virtual, every maintenance of the applications and systems we are managing, everything is virtual itself. So that you can reduce the maintenance cost because virtual maintenance will be less expensive when you are comparing to the physical infrastructure maintenance. So lowering maintenance is one thing. Next, it will be more efficient because the system as well as the kind of servers that we are maintaining to manage the load balancing will be in such a way where a number of users are using the same application at the same time. The application accuracy, scalability, performance, load balancing will be more better. This is one more, right? So efficient, it will be more efficient. Next, about high performance. Performance will be higher. Performance in context to the speed, I can say, right? So normally performance we calculate in a form of speed. So how speed the application we are accessing, right? So how speed the results we are getting. This is all about the high performance. Next, scalable application. Application will be scalable in nature. I can say that. Scalability means as multiple people across different places can use it even. So scalability is also one of the thing. So these were the different things that we need to know, right? So when we are talking about the migration from the legacy systems to the new system, when we are talking about these migrations and all, this is what something that we have to do, right? So from legacy systems to the new system, where in this migration process we have to perform. So this is what generally the migration process is all about, right? So from legacy systems to the new system, the migration process has to change. This is generally for any healthcare applications or any banking, retail, insurance. So this migration process is always needed, helpful, and that it is becoming important for nowadays for any projects when we are migrations, because as in you could see many projects are in the stage of migration, right? So they are migrating from old legacy systems to the new application. That's how it is happening. So these are the basic things one should understand, right? So based on that, how the ETL process we have defined. So what kind of ETL tools that we are going to use and all everything, right? So how we are creating a staging database, all these things, right? So how you are loading the data, how you are cleaning the data, right? So all that comes in the next level.